Hello, and thanks for joining us on the Box Banter podcast. Timmy, how are you? How's your week been?
How's my week been? It's Monday. So I guess my weekend was...
When I asked that, I'm asking how was your week since I last saw you?
Oh, right. It has been a
Last
whole week.
episode.
I guess you're right. It's been pretty good. It's been, it's been quiet. There hasn't been any Formula One, which is something of note, again.
Well, we're almost at the end of May. Well, we are at the end of May. We're almost entering mid-year, and we've been privy to 4 races so far. So what a time to be a Formula One fan.
Just remarkable. I mean, he was there 18, I guess, because it's 22 races now. 18 to go, and we had to tick over bloody tax times coming around. There's 18 races to go.
Tax time? Who's talking about tax time?
Oh, mate, I live off tax time.
Jeez.
I can't wait. I'm counting down the days.
This podcast is hitting new lows. Tax time.
Stop it.
So this episode, we're going to talk about the latest F1 news.
Woo!
And tell you what, there was a lot out there to cover.
Yeah. yeah.
And it all was to do with Max Verstappen.
Look, I got some news. I'm sorry to see your puppies out. You got the dog?
They're off camera.
You got
so
the dogs out.
They're off camera, you know.
I always wear shoes. I'm too scared in case some digits get in the lens.
Well, you should be thanking me. People have to pay for this view.
Nice, yeah.
You know?
Normally
I'll drop a link in the bio, so if anyone wants to get
to the only feet.
Yeah, you know, if anyone wants to get some photos, and
yeah.
can,
Sometimes I forget where I am. So much
flick
fun.
me a fiver for a foot.
You that cheap? I'll flick you mine because I'm actually worth a bit more than that.
Well, why are you covering up then?
Just
I've
so
actually
I don't
seen
give it away.
I've seen your feet, and I can tell you right now.
Well, that's my concern.
Nobody wants to see those.
Sometimes I'm having so much fun, I get carried away and I stick my feet across my legs over, and I just to just eliminate any.
Well, why are you so tense? Just relax, all right? I know.
That is when I get relaxed.
I know it's another off week of Formula One. I know once again we're gonna have to scramble to talk about the most exciting headlines, in Formula One.
Yeah.
Of which there's very few right now.
And hey. No, Liam.
But
I'm
just relax. Just relax. Okay?
I'm feeling like we need to bar Liam Lawson from this podcast.
Wow, you're diving straight
I
in.
just wanted to say. I don't think we're talking about him today. So I just wanted to say.
He's just going straight for the jugular.
I just want to say that we say pretty negative things about pretty well everything. Like we're Australian.
Well, hang on. Why are you lumping me into this?
Because do we not talk shit about George Russell? Do we not talk shit about Lennon Norris? Do we not talk shit about
everybody
Formula
talks shit
One?
about George Russell. I saw 2 excellent George Russell memes today.
Yeah.
One was a photo of Toto with 3 kids, and it was the moment you realize you're the middle child, and it was like Lewis was the oldest,
right?
George was the middle, and then there was a newborn baby, which was Kimmy.
Okay.
Oh,
nothing like describing a meme.
Yeah, it doesn't hit the same, does it?
Gets that. Yeah, no, look.
They've been my favorite content so far.
We talk shit about everything and everyone. And everything gets clipped and, it all goes out there and everyone's got a fan base. But for whatever reason, you're not allowed to talk about Liam Lawson, eh?
He's untouchable.
He is. We have discovered that. We're not allowed to talk about Liam Lawson. People go for the damn jugular.
So
there's a clip where we're talking shit about...
So you want to start off our show by bringing up Liam Lawson?
Well, I'm just saying, from this point forth, I think he's off limits, eh? Because they're too sensitive.
What? Give me an example. Give me an example.
Mate. Last week, I mentioned, just a quick mention, that we were wrong.
Yeah.
That about, he had a mechanical failure in Miami.
Sure.
And we just mentioned, we recorded straight after, so we didn't know that detail. So I just made a mention last week, we were wrong, but... Naturally, he's made a lot of mistakes. So what you saw by the eyeball is what... Anyway, we
called it like we saw it.
Yeah, so that got clipped into a short. Essentially an apology. A backhanded one, perhaps.
Sure.
But, man, again, comment in the comments of...
Backhanded apologies are my favorite kind of apologies.
Yeah. But then I read that racing bulls themselves are saying, Liam, buddy.
Yeah.
You've got to wrap this up. You've got to, rein this
Lock it in.
Stop making mistakes. Why are they allowed to say stuff?
Yeah.
Here we are. We're just trying to put our, 3/4 of a sentence in, and we're just getting chewed alive for saying stuff about him. Well, but then where's the George Russell fans? Where's the Norris fans coming out in defense?
Yeah, the Norris fans have really dipped, haven't they?
That's true. They were pretty violent.
We were fighting them off last year, and there was some of the most disturbing stuff I ever heard in my life came from Norris fan girls. So.
That is actually true. I did forget about them.
But they've got quiet all of a sudden.
Liam's always been a problem with us, for us.
Yeah, it must be those Kiwis.
They're fierce.
I thought they were the most laid out.
Chill.
Yeah. just grab another cold one from the chili bin, cuz.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. We're going to get a whole nother form of hate.
Well, they're, our cousins from across the strait there.
Exactly right.
But, I don't read anything on social media.
I'm forced to because we promise replies to the people who comment and appreciate the comments. But yeah, just the Liam Lawson stuff. It's just you say one negative thing about the guy.
Okay. So what are you saying? He's blacklisted
I think
from
we
now on.
just can't, good or bad. If there's ever a good,
well, I mean, if we're blacklisting him, then there's other drivers I'd rather blacklist first because I saw a thing today about Ocon potentially maybe leaving Haas mid-season.
Yeah. And then
I'm like, I don't want to talk about Ocon.
Yeah. But that's the thing. We wouldn't get any kind of comments on that.
It sounds like Haas have smartened up a little bit here. So, good for them.
Yeah.
So.
Ocon who?
Yeah. Okay. Let's actually get into some real news because whilst, Liam Lawson is such a thrilling, person to talk about.
Yeah. Anyone with NZ in the title of their TikTok or Instagram handle, it's their trouble.
The Nurburgring, 24-hour. So did you catch any of it this weekend? And be honest.
No, God, no. I didn't watch anything live or any of that. I've seen some.
I'm surprised. I really thought for sure if anybody was going to jump onto catch what's going on here, it would be you as a diehard motorsport enthusiast who has a lot of love and respect for more traditional forms of racing.
Thank you.
You're
so kind.
Well, I'm sure have you done? I know you do a lot of sim racing.
Yeah.
Have you done a Nurburgring run?
No.
You've done Bathurst, though, haven't you?
Done Bathurst 12 hours and things like that.
Yeah.
I haven't raced the Nordschleife since Gran Turismo, I don't know what they're up to now. Probably Gran Turismo 5.
Right, so you didn't play the latest one.
I was pretty locked in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was pretty locked in as a kid. I was able to, I don't know if it's 5, maybe 4, maybe 3. But I was able to run that track.
Well, not as good as Max Verstappen, apparently.
Well, no one can. So, he's just dropped into the place and become the GOAT of Nurburgring as well.
I watched a lot of it.
A lot of it? How much?
What, hours? Out of the 24 hours, how much did I watch?
Yeah, sicko, tell me.
Probably, I had it on at work. So someone else at work clicked it on. So it was on in the background.
I was going to say, I thought you weren't allowed to do that anymore.
It's a lot more difficult to at my, but there's loopholes, there's workarounds. So
not to disclose what you do, but there's plenty of TVs. They could just throw one on.
Yeah. Well, they work very hard to stop us from having fun at work. So
yeah, it's a bummer.
But we found a loophole and we got there. So I had it on during my shift, and that was sort of the period between early morning as the sun rose, and then through kind of the morning period.
Yeah.
And then when I got home, I watched basically the last 4 hours.
Was it on YouTube or something?
Yeah. There was a number of streams you could catch it on. So there was a Red Bull stream, there was a Verstappen only stream, there was the actual Nurburgring streams, and then you could watch it in German or English as well.
Oh, handy. Nice.
Yeah. So there was a number of avenues you could get the coverage from. I didn't really watch much of the qualifying because I was like, well, Max would just put it on pole, and I was actually surprised to see that he put it in 4th. He didn't.
Wow, what a terrible effort.
Pole, yeah. But what I did watch, and if I was to accumulate it all together, it was probably over half, roughly.
That's all right. Like I said, I watch 12-hour at Bathurst every year. So watching 12 hours of the Nurburgring is probably...
I have to say...
How was the night viewing is my question. Because I also saw it was raining.
Insane.
Yeah?
I have to say...
Because the track's not lit. It's
No, it's not. You have to rely only on headlights.
Yeah, what were you as the spectator? What
cameras are pretty good these days. They pick up a lot of detail. Okay. They got a lot of lights on the cars. So you kind of know, you can see when cars are coming up and the rapid speed that Verstappen is approaching them at.
I just can't believe the footage I've seen of not only him, but many cars getting airborne.
Oh, yeah, it's incredible. I will say right now that was the most interesting piece of motorsport I watched this year.
Yeah. It would have been.
And
it's one of a kind.
It really is. I don't know. I think watching it, I was really got a sense of F1 has lost its way. There's a rawness about what this event was, and I don't know enough about exactly why they're there, what they're doing, and how many other events are linked to this. Is there a championship? Honestly, I don't know any of that. I don't know if this is a standalone thing.
It's the World Endurance, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a bunch of names that enter these things.
Well, 3 of the winners are recognised because they come to Bathurst every year for
Right.
the 12-hour.
Yeah. It was insane. It was such a great watch. Like, honestly, I mean, I think I commend Verstappen for what he's doing. You know, most drivers on their weeks off, and boy, have they had a lot of weeks off so far this year. You know, they're relaxing, they're traveling, they're doing all this fancy shit. Not him. Not him. He's strapping in
Getting back
to
in
a
race car.
Merc. Yeah, and he's
really shown light on the Nurburgring.
He has, like, well, the Nurburgring and that sporting category and what it is. And I think that it sounds like he's going to come back and give it another crack again. But I think that more people will probably come back and watch him. Like, the event itself was literally outstanding.
Yeah.
It was so interesting and fascinating to watch. I learned a lot. But I think the stripped down nature of the sport, less technology, no batteries, you know, love to mention that. It was, I think, almost like what motor racing should be. Like, this is like the heart and soul of motor racing. And this is, I think, something that F1 has lost. And whether F1 can come back and recapture that, I think that, you know, they've like what Verstappen has done by pull like this huge whole viewership over.
Yeah.
I think that there's going to be a lot more interest on these types of motorsports moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, you say the word pure, whatever, a couple of times. The problem I have with them, and it's not even a problem, I couldn't care less, but they do run traction control and ABS and things that traditionally take away from being a pure form of racing.
Yeah, but we've had those for decades.
Hey?
We've had those for decades.
No, but just that sport. Like Formula One don't use them, Fiat Supercars, NASCAR, like your other sort of headlining sports and countries, motorsports, they don't use traction control, ABS, stability control and all that. Whereas those GT cars do. And it's like I've said to you before, it's because they're a production car for an avenue for rich people to go racing. But the reason I don't care about it is because you're right, the racing on track is some of the best racing you can find.
Yeah, like I like the dynamic of the multi-categories running at the same time. So, and that becomes a strategic play.
They're a moving chicane at all times.
Yeah, and like it's astounding that can even happen. Or if there's an incident and then it's a code 60. So, you know, you have to drop down to 60 kilometers and then make your way through that section until you get the green flag. It's just insane that they have people and tow trucks and car and like safety cars, or not safety cars, but like emergency cars, you know, come and attend to it. But the event just keeps on rolling.
That's what I find fascinating. Because that's got to be, the Nurburgring's got to be the only track that does that. Because again, this whole circus goes to Bathurst and they run under Australian rules and regs and it's very strict and very different. They go run at Daytona, run under American rules, and again, it's very different. You got the safety car, you got all that stuff. But then, you got the Nurburgring, and one of the clips I did see was that, I think it was the Dacia or whatever, that everyone just loves now, that yellow little hatchback, that he got stuck behind. And I didn't know that had to go to 60. I thought that car ahead was being cautious because it's yellow, but it's also a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was stuck at 60. I was watching him like, you know, I knew he couldn't pass because it's yellows. But as that video's going on, and then, you got the truck on the inside picking up cars, and it's like, wow. Like, that's old school.
It's fantastic. I really enjoy it. I thought it was a great watch, and the numbers that I was seeing across different channels, because I was sort of flicking through different streams, was impressive.
We should have done 24-hour watch.
And I get, well, some of us have to work on weekends, so
hey, I was working on the weekend too, buddy.
A little bit difficult. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately for Max, he led 21 hours of the race. Well, not led, but basically was in control for the better part of 21 hours. And then had a mechanical failure. Yeah. So 3 hours to go.
I think I read.
Yeah, I haven't looked any further into it, whether they've pinpointed exactly why it failed or how it failed, and whether it was through Max's stint or...
It's a 24-hour event. These things happen.
It's it's not just how far she can go. It's that attrition thing as well.
Yeah.
I
mean, he jumped the damn thing.
Yeah, like
cars,
how did it not break in that moment?
Again, it's the only track you're getting airborne, and the fact that they don't. I don't know how at this point in time they haven't shaved those hills, or how they're allowed to get airborne is beyond me.
It's known as the Green Hell, and I think that's such a fascinating name. And watching it once again, like we talk about, we talk about Formula One obviously, but we talk about the tracks and how like they've gotten too safe, too many runoff areas now, not enough penalties for mistakes. Not the Nurburgring.
No, and that's why Formula One don't run there.
Yeah, the Nurburgring has fences, 3 meters off the track
Yeah.
all the way through.
And grass
and
on the edge of the track. There's no runoff there.
Just grass and forest everywhere.
Yeah.
And like, as a racer, it must be just majestical to race through there. Like if you could pick anywhere in the world to race on in an event, that's got to be up there in top 3 for sure.
If you could hit that, where you just dialed in, that flow state, that'd be the perfect place for it.
Oh yeah. So, it just sort of pulls me back to like how F1 tracks have gotten too modern, too safe, and they've gotten away from these things that are genuinely interesting to view. Like watching it and watching the cars weave through the forest. Insane. It's great. It's such a great way to spend your Saturday or Sunday night. F1, you're just watching grandstands, and you're watching
an hour and a half,
just sponsorship painted everywhere. You know,
and it's gross. It is gross. The Aramco everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like I said to you, all these modern tracks. There's a modern F1 look to these tracks.
There's no personality about them anymore.
That's exactly it. That's the word.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that F1 have decided to take this one direction, but I think there's a lot that they can learn from these other categories. One Direction.
Yeah.
Why?
Maybe just let that slip very confidently. I was just curious.
Well, it's being that it's the first thing that came to your mind, I must be one of your top artists.
No, it's just I thought it was in your vocabulary. It's very quick to pick that one out.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for making me lose my train of thought. It was such a great. If anyone caught it, and I'm sure a lot of people did, I think they were genuinely entertained. And it was certainly a more entertaining race than I've seen in out of the 4 F1 races we've been allowed to watch so far.
You've definitely got me with a little bit of FOMO. I wish I maybe caught some of it, but yeah, I mean we've said the whole time we're doing this podcast, we've always said like, what are the things that make a great track? It's undulation. It's like physical track limits, where if you make a mistake, like it's gonna cost you.
Yeah,
and that track literally has everything. Don't get me wrong, like way too long. You'll never see Formula One on it again. You'll never see like anything besides,
which is a shame.
What runs there now on there.
It's a shame that Formula One, like I get that they don't have the refueling stuff and they don't have the ability to do like more endurance type races, but it's a shame that there's not like 3 main events in the year that are endurance type races where maybe you're allowed to have refueling. Maybe you do have to have I don't expect F1 cars to race 24 hours, but it's a shame that they don't have their version of an endurance race where maybe it's an 8-hour race or something.
I agree with you. I mean, again, you look at...
Because like if you're the pinnacle of motorsport, right, which as they claim to be, surely part of that is reliability.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get a good understanding of reliability over 300 kilometers.
An hour and a half, yeah. There's no versatility in Formula One.
No.
That's what it is. You say best racing category in the world, but they don't stem away at all from what they do.
No.
I know you hate it, but NASCAR. 36 races in a year. They race every weekend, damn near, right?
You're getting your value for money on your KO subscription on that one.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, they've got so many different forms of racing. Don't get me wrong, I don't particularly think that NASCAR drivers could really compete to be the best in the world. As much as everyone says Kyle Larson is, I'm just not convinced. But they do have to test what they've got on very, very small ovals that'll fit inside of an NFL stadium, up to 2.5 mile flat, wide open, split second decision racing over 3.5 hours.
Yep.
And then street tracks, and then different size of ovals in between. They really have a versatile. Their drivers have to be versatile to be good, and to compete week in and week out, they have to be versatile.
Yeah.
V8s, it's kind of similar. Like, I don't know. If there's 13 rounds, 8 of them are kind of duds. They're kind of pretty crappy local tracks. Don't put on a great show. But then you've got an endurance race, or 2 of them, 2 endurance races. Yeah,
right.
And then you've got street circuits where you're tested to the limit, and the walls are very close. Again, it's not like Formula One. There's the street circuits I think that we have in Australia for V8s are a lot better than what Formula One has.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you look at I'm just saying, I think Formula One they're too much, every race weekend is more or less the same. The tracks are all very similar.
Yeah.
Besides the old school track, which doesn't produce very good racing these days.
No, and they're kind of being pushed out more and more.
Yeah. And then on top of that, again, the weekends, it's always a 300 kilometer race. You're just not versatile, and that's probably what Max is loving because he's gone from a decade career of we go to the same tracks that are all very similar, same format, same race length, we race on the same day, and then now he gets to go to the Nurburgring. He gets to go to a 24-hour race. So he's getting out of that and probably enjoying it.
There's a lot of takeaways that I had from watching it, so I'll try and run them through as best as I can remember. I think the first one is a very simple thing, and it's probably not for everyone, but when you get to watch an event like that through YouTube, you also then get the community chat. And I actually think that's quite a good thing because, like, we've been gamers for many years, and there's streamers that I like to watch.
Yeah.
And part of the fun of that is being a part of a community where you can talk about things that you're watching and what's going on.
Yeah.
And I like that when they live stream these events, you kind of get that as well. Now, granted, if you're watching Formula One and there's 20 million people watching, it's probably not going to work.
Yeah.
But, if there was a way, like as an example, say you press the red button and pick the driver you're watching.
Yeah.
You can watch with other fans of the driver and
that's true.
You could then imagine being able to watch Piastri's race. And like the way that they do it is very smart. You've got the main camera of Verstappen, but you have a smaller screen for the main race. So you can still sort of see any main events that are going on. Imagine having that and then being able to talk to other Piastri fans who are probably local and from around the world and whatever. It's such a great little...
That would be a good way to watch the race. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and you don't have to. Like, of course, you can turn chat on and off.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I quite enjoyed. And then you get to have that live reaction of people in that moment, of what they're liking and, what's happened. Like the moment Verstappen's team was basically out of contention, the viewership just plummeted.
Oh, yeah. God.
But it was funny to see people coming into the chat and being like, whoa, what happened? Like, I went to take a piss to come back. What happened to the number 3 car?
Where's the car? Yeah.
So that's one thing that I quite liked about the event. The other thing I already mentioned the rawness of the racing, and I think F1 have been far from that for a long time. It's a very controlled sport now. But one of the key takeaways I noticed was, or thought about at least, was it's insane that Verstappen can come into this sport with very little experience and basically just dominate.
Yeah.
My mind keeps coming back to this guy is impressive. Like, he is probably the best racer in the world. And I think that's an incredible title. I think he's this nice bridge between the old school and the new school. I think that whilst he's at the pinnacle of Formula One and it's going through these major changes, I love that he wants to go back and race more, I'll call them like down to earth cars.
Yeah.
Be a part of these like novelty type events.
It wasn't on KO.
I almost would. Well, yeah,
which kind of tells you because there's no
like
TV
official broadcasting of it. No, but I'm sure that they're probably gonna, if he keeps making this a recurrence, I'm sure that they're gonna make sure they get broadcast rights. So
there's already whispers about can we get him to Bathurst for the 12 hour?
Well, I was just gonna say, a driver like him, you do look at what he's done in Formula One, and you think, what's left to do?
Yeah.
It's record hunting, right? He's basically achieved everything. I almost would love to see him quit F1 and then just go and do these, not like a list of like, what could I do in the world and partake of it and see, if I can win the event.
Yeah.
And just rack them up. Like, imagine if he goes to Indy, if he does like a little rally stint, if he does things like Bathurst, Le Mans, Nurburgring, I would love to follow him on that journey.
Yeah.
I think that would be incredible.
And when we saw Valentino Rossi's doing it now, he's been to Bathurst for the last 5 years.
But it's a little bit different because he's not in the peak or prime of his racing career.
No, that's true. And he obviously went from 2 to 4 wheels. But we saw Mike Webber do it. He went and did a full couple of seasons with Porsche with the World Endurance Championship, doing like the LMP cars, like not GT3. So it still felt above. It didn't I kind of agree with you. GT3 racing feels slightly more down to earth. It's far from grassroots, but it's way more grassroots than...
I missed it. It gave me the sense of watching Formula One way back.
Yeah.
Like the sense of anything could happen. It felt electric. It felt dangerous. You know, I sent you a clip last night of Verstappen getting overtaken and the car clipping
Another
car and him, that car spinning in front of Verstappen. And right then, his race could have been over. Now, unfortunately, it was over like half an hour later for a different reason. But it was just like, something that was out of his control almost ended his race.
And that's why there's a good chance that he'll never win that race, because you probably look at the car that won. I bet
it was his sister team.
Now, was it?
It was the same car.
Yeah. I bet they had issues as well. Like, you go through a 24-hour race, you're going to have issues. It's about how to survive.
I think that car had a big crash in practice.
Yeah.
And then
But I guarantee you, they would have had some mishap during the race, because that's what it's all about. How to avoid, you got to avoid all these cars on the track. Obviously, it rained. You got to somehow avoid mechanical issues, penalties. Like, their pit stops are just whack. I'll never understand why they do pit stops the way they do, where it's all timed. And I was watching where they put them up on dollies and they spun them around. I'm like, God, they just have all the time in the world. Like,
I don't mind it because, like, yes, pit stops can be a strategy thing for sure. Maybe it's a safety thing. I don't know, but I don't mind it because, like, I was thinking about it from this avenue. 24 hours is a long time to race, right?
Yeah.
But then when you split that over 4 drivers, it's like, well, it's actually not that insane, right? But then if you have a timed pit stop, then you've got drivers like Max who can basically just do as much racing as he wants. And he did. He did double stints multiple times. He did the lion's share of the racing. And he basically worked the hardest to get the car with a solid lead before, unfortunately, the mechanical failure.
Yeah.
But I sort of like that it basically allows the team to then change the drivers out as much as they want.
Yeah.
You know,
I think there's a couple of factors for it. I think it's a case of they don't want it to become a race between pit crews. Because, again, not all these teams are going to have full-time pit crews. Or you know what I mean? Like, they're not like a... Because, they're not... It's not like a Formula One team or whatever. Like, it's... They're going to have a group of guys that don't necessarily work together all the time. They don't want it to be the richest team has the crew full time and they're all really good.
Yeah.
And then that'll shill over another team that's kind of just like thrown together, don't get much practice. And then the safety part as well.
Yeah.
Because they do refuel, obviously. But I just think it's very strange how they, again, I didn't watch the Nurburgring, but like I know for Bathurst, it's like a minute and a half. They have to sit there. Yeah, they do the drive change, and once that's done, then they come out and they do the tyres, and then once that's done, then they quickly do the fuel, and then they got to sit there and wait for the rest of the time.
Yeah,
I just find it very, very strange and unracy.
Yeah, it's a strategy part that's taken out of the game for sure.
Yeah,
especially if, like, I guess I don't think fuel strategies would play a part in endurance racing because you just fill it up to the brim, race it dry.
Plays a part big time.
Yeah, okay.
Because you want that last stint, and again, I can only really refer to the 12-hour Bathurst, but 12 hours is a long time. But you're still always counting back from that last stint. If you can save fuel all day, and you're always putting fuel in it, but if you're saving fuel to the point where every time you stop, it's a lap later than the car before, a lap later than the car before, a lap later than the car before, and then the final time you pit is on the same time, but you need 10 litres less because you've been the pits. In this case, it's not the case because it's GT3.
Yeah.
But like if you can do it, and then that last stint, you can have a 5-second less pit stop. That's where it will come into it.
Yeah. I think I'm interested to see where Verstappen goes from here because you almost get a sense that he really isn't enjoying his F1 racing and he had a lot of fun this weekend despite not getting the result he hoped for. But I wonder how hard it is to then, fly to Canada and jump into one of these types of machines and basically go through...
Have a very structured weekend.
It's not only structured, it's also like this big facade.
Yeah.
There's all this like phoniness around F1 now.
Yeah, you're right.
Whereas like, Nurburgring, you don't get a sense of that at all. You're talking to like people who have a love of the game and a passion for racing, whether it's in the garage or, it was interesting to see him like get out of the car and then he's straight away talking to the Michelin guys and he's basically talking about how the tires went in like different hours of the day and tire conditions, when it was starting to get dewy and raining and whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, you really get a sense it's all about the racing. Whereas like F1, racing's almost like the 4th or 5th thing on the list now, There's so many other things above it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. He gets out of the car and walks through the paddock in Formula One. It's celebrities everywhere. It's CEOs and higher level executives for all these commercial brands. And, you've got to have a smiley face for all your partners. Yeah. And that's what Formula One is.
And like,
And you could
go back
imagine-
10 years or 15 years ago when they were sort of starting to integrate this. It was kind of a novelty thing. It wasn't like the main event.
But again, you look
And it
at
was-
Monaco. How many of these people are race fans
Well,
that are watching?
Well, I was going to say, and most of the people that made up the grid at the times were ex-racers or people somehow connected to the sport. And you have the odd celebrity. But now, like, they don't talk to any ex-racers.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah,
very rarely.
Yeah.
You know, they're just looking for who's the biggest celeb on the grid that we can,
Yeah.
you know, show, oh, look, they're a fan of our sport, so
Yeah,
you
exactly.
should be too.
And then I can imagine at Nurburgring, it'd almost be the environment where he could go have a cheeky beer with someone at a campsite.
Yeah,
It's like
almost,
literally,
yeah.
they would absolutely have been a situation where he could have been like, I don't imagine there was any famous people. I don't imagine there was very many, you know, partners, as in like sponsorship partners around the paddock at all. It probably was a case of grab some pit crew guys, let's go for a walk and find a nice campsite
Yeah,
with some
yep.
people and have a beer, like that type of environment.
I'm telling you, if you didn't see any of the coverage, you missed out.
Yeah, no.
It was genuinely a really good event
I'm feeling
as a
a little
racing
bit,
fan to catch.
A little bit silly that I didn't even catch any of it, to be honest.
Well, it was like, obviously 24 hours is impressive. And we know, like, with Verstappen clearly likes to push himself. You know, we know that he spent a lot of time in the sim rigs. Like, it was kind of like a funny thing that he was a full-time F1 racer, but then like spent as much time on iRacing and doing sim racing as he did. And he did like endurance events with that as well.
Yeah.
But
That's
now
where
he's
the team
kind of
started.
Well, yeah. But now that's kind of shifted into like real life racing events outside of F1.
Yeah.
And I respect it. Like I said, I would love to see him take a crack at other racing categories, you know.
Well, I got two
He's
questions.
building like this brand. Like it's like transcending F1 almost.
Yeah, no, you're right. I've got two questions before we probably move on. One, what does he say about Mercedes? Like, you got to imagine Canada, they're going to ask him about it. And it's like, I wonder how that works. As in, he doesn't want to, can he shit on him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being that it's a bit awkward, I feel like. And two, is it better for the sport, Formula One, that he did win or didn't win, or that if we did win? Like, if he won it, would he have been like, okay, like, done that, checked off the box, that was pretty easy. Whereas now he's got that hunger to be like, are you serious?
That's true. It's a catch-22, isn't it? Because if he won, the headlines are all around the world that he, you know, comes into the Nurburgring and he just basically dominates and comes away, puts his name on the trophy.
But then now, and then does he have that hunger?
Does he want to
go
do it
back?
again?
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas now it's obvious, like, he
Now
has that
he's-
under his belt.
Now he's like, I got to come back.
Yeah.
Like, you know, couldn't get it done this time. Obviously, the last race that he had, I think that was 12 hours, I think, from memory. I can't remember what it was. Obviously, you know, he had the DNF that he won.
It was
so
6 hours, I think.
6 hours. So he's had two back-to-back events now
Yeah.
where he's had a bit of bad luck and hasn't got the result. And that probably is keeping him on the hook of like, all right, got to come back and try and do this again, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I see it as like it's kind of, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, really. So,
Like, you got to wonder if even Red Bull, Formula One, Red Bull, were they kind of like, damn it, if you just won, maybe you got it out of his system and we could just kind of move forward with this whole chatter. Whereas now they're probably like, God damn it, why? Why Mercedes?
yeah. It's interesting too because he's raced a Merc, he's raced a Ferrari, like he's been basically testing out all sorts of vehicles. So
I'm waiting for the day Ford are like, okay, you need to race a Ford. Like, come on.
Yeah, that'll probably come next year.
Yeah, I imagine.
Anything else that you want to talk about or cover with the Nurburgring?
No, I think we definitely covered all avenues there.
All right, let's move on. So the next piece of news that we'll cover is strippers. Yes, you heard me. Strippers
Oh, I heard you. I heard you right.
plan mass strikes during the Canadian Grand Prix weekend.
Yeah.
So I hadn't heard anything about this at all.
Yeah. I
but
found this one.
you know, on an off race week where you're looking for something to talk about, this is the best thing that we could find. Well, the second best thing that we could find. And you brought it up.
I did. I had to go through the depths of the internet to find something interesting. And it seemed legit. It's
I hope
from
you had your VPN on.
Well, mind your business. I was using your internet.
Oh, great.
Your URL.
Yeah, great.
So, hope you had your VPN on.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Set to Russia.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was fake news, so I had to read the story. It compelled me. But
Wait, you actually did genuine reading.
I read the whole story
Wow, yeah, I don't believe you.
about strippers. Yeah, so apparently they are planning a strike at the Canadian Grand Prix weekend because I guess the Formula One fraternity are a bunch of horny bastards. And this is their busiest weekend of the year. As in all the local strip clubs just get hounded Formula One weekend.
Yeah.
And they want the government, maybe? They want someone to acknowledge them as a real profession.
Right. Okay.
And as with real benefits.
Right.
Real salaries.
So they want to get like superannuation or something.
Yeah.
You know,
RDOs,
paid leave.
sick days.
Yep.
Yeah, they want the whole kit and caboodle. Yeah. So that's the thing. They're threatening to strike during the Canadian Grand Prix weekend. So Lawrence Stroll and all the other creeps and Helmut Marko, they can't get their lappies.
I've never heard of something like this before. Like, I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked at all. But it is like such a bizarre headline.
It kind of exposes some unthought of,
Yeah, you don't realize the roll-on effect of F1 when it comes to your city.
Like, imagine what happens in Vegas.
The effect is going to spread everywhere, including your massage.
But that was the other part of it. Yeah, it was massage parlors.
Yeah,
that's gross. That's gross. I mean, just a way to expose yourself.
Yeah. Have you been to a strippies before?
Nah.
Yeah, no, neither have I.
Have you?
Yeah, no, legit. What do you say?
Oh, you just surprises me. What are we doing for your bachelor party?
Well, I tell you, no, it's going to be wholesome activities
good.
Like the cricket.
Hey, we're very wholesome people.
Yeah. So
you won't be affected by the Canadian strippers?
No, unfortunately, my money stays in my pocket. You know, so on that one,
by choice, not by a walkout.
It does make me. The first thing that popped into my head, and there was many things that popped into my head in there, but the first thing was, geez, how many people are getting a rub down and then slip him a 50 and be
Well, they go to the strippers first, I guess, and then they go to a massage parlor down the street. Right, they've got quite the orchestrated...
Get that release.
Yeah.
That tension release.
That's like the only thing I can imagine. But yeah, you're right. That was the other part of the story was it was massage parlors and strippers going on strike. Massage parlors, like, come on. Are they not seen as,
well, maybe not in Canada.
Yeah, well, they mustn't be because they were planning on striking as well. But like I said, just a way to expose your underbelly.
How many people in that stroll camp are like going, guys,
please don't.
Please.
We'll pay.
Sort them out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was in the story. It said one of the girls was like, because they pay for their own drinks and then they just get tips. They don't get a salary or a wage. They come and they just get tips.
Right.
So it's like, some nights we pay more than we get.
Right.
And
it's I don't know if you saw the headline from a couple of weeks ago, but there was this is off the cuff, so excuse the vagueness, but it was some sort of a crackdown. I want to say in like France. And it was like a prostitution ring, and an F1 driver was linked to that ring. And I assume as someone who probably attends frequently, the name hasn't been released yet, and it will be interesting to see whether it does come out. But
maybe that's why Ocon's stepping back.
You reckon that dude's going to strippers?
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Maybe.
So he seems too much like a preppy kid.
He does, and maybe that's a part of his mystique.
Like the farce. Okay.
Maybe he's been exposed.
Yeah.
As what ring? A prostitution ring. Yeah. Maybe he's a...
I believe so. I vaguely, it's one of those things where you see the rumor and you go, I can't be fucked clicking on it enough. Yeah. Until the name comes out and where you're either genuinely shocked or you're like, oh, okay, it was Lawrence Stroll. Okay, Christian Horner. Yeah.
Didn't see that coming. Christian Horner, and no one would even be. They'd be like, yeah,
checked out. Yeah,
no dramas there at all. Wouldn't even be newsworthy then.
It would be interesting to see if the name even comes out or if it gets
that's
buried.
But certainly heard of that. See, and this is why this podcast is great because I definitely wouldn't have the strippers news story. I bet we are breaking news. Because it was pretty deep on the internet. It was many pages deep on Google News. And it was only like a day old, the story.
Well, if you've got this big event rolling into town, right? And this is your chance to fill your pockets. Like, how long is the strike going to last for? Like an hour?
Yeah, well.
2 hours?
What's they're saying? It's like what's really going to affect the clubs.
Yeah.
Because they might be relying on this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, we know that it brings in money. We know it brings in, like, celebrities and rich people who want to just flex and whatever. And I'm sure that after the race, they're filling these sorts of establishments.
So
So
Stroll puts the whole team up.
yeah, maybe it's like look, we'll strike on Thursday night, but business as usual Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. So.
That's right. Exactly.
All right, so let's move on to the next thrilling piece of F1 news, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
Carlos Sainz raced the first, I say raced loosely, but
I think it was
basically
a road car
run the
as well.
first laps of the Madring in
Yeah.
Spain there. So talking about this earlier off pod to you, you had no idea
I had no idea
that they were even racing at the Madring this year.
That
it was
shows
the unveiling of it.
that kind of exposes me, doesn't
You're
it?
spending too much time at NASCAR. I'm getting worried.
You're probably right. I had no clue. I had no clue. Like I didn't even know they were building the track. So my experience was, oh yeah, cool. Da-da-da-da. Oh, this year. That's crazy. I mean, the track doesn't even look anywhere near like complete-ish.
No,
So-
I did see news earlier in the year that they were concerned that they'll get it finished in time. So they're working hard to try and get it up and running.
We've seen this story before about tracks that are rushed to completion and then they're missing a heck of a lot on the first race.
Yep.
And it's never a good thing. It sounds like a very familiar story.
Well, he's an ambassador of the track, which
course he is.
doesn't. Of course, he is. He's
Yeah,
Spanish,
Spanish,
and I'm sure they're paying him a lot of money to
Is the Madring in Madrid?
Yeah,
Is it?
Yeah.
Nice. Checks it out.
hence the name. Yep.
Yep.
Now, what I was seeing about it, it seems to be like everyone's sort of saying the first half of the track is excellent, and the second half of the track is meh. So,
Is it an Ilman Tilk or whatever his name is track?
I actually don't know. I don't know.
Gotta be.
Yeah, I don't know. But it seems to have replaced Zandvoort.
Yeah,
From what we
that was
saw.
our off the cuff, super quick research when I realized because you're exposing me. You thought there was 2 Spanish tracks.
Well, there is.
Okay. Okay. You thought it replaced some other Spanish track, which I, to my knowledge, told you we haven't had 2 Spanish tracks since 2012.
What was the other one? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. It was Valencia Street Circuit.
Valencia. Yep. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's bringing back some more banking.
Yep.
Which is interesting. I don't know how good that is for racing overall.
It's bloody good.
Banking is. Yep.
Yeah. I'm trying to find who designed it. I think it must have been... No, it was Jarno Zaffelli.
Right.
And there's an Italian circuit design company.
Okay.
That's the first track. That's going to be the first track in a long time that wasn't designed by that Herman Tilke fella.
Well, it's probably good, right?
But
After we were just complaining about modern F1 tracks.
He has designed all these new rubbish tracks.
I'm always down for a new track. Zandvoort, I really like Zandvoort. Zandvoort, I thought was a great track. It was one of those.
Was a great track.
Yeah, it was one of those tracks that offered some personality.
Yeah.
So hopefully this, reaches that same level or betters it in terms of.
I think it'll be good. And it's also a lot bigger. But in reference to the banking,
Okay.
I think 2 things. Banking is great for racing.
Yep.
Like way more corner speed. Like simple as that. 24%. I don't know why it's in percent. I actually had a conversion here. It is 13.5 degrees at its peak.
Mm-hmm.
So Zandvoort is 19 degrees. So that's a fair bit more. As in
Okay.
the tight 90
Yep.
where they run really high up the track.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's 19 degrees.
So not the back banking.
No. So
The first
the
set of
tight-
banking.
yeah, the
where,
tight sort of
where
hairpin.
Daniel Ricciardo broke his wrist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that has 19 degrees of banking as opposed to the 13.5 at the Madring. Monza, the old Monza.
Yep.
With the full ring.
Yep.
That had up to 45 degrees banking.
Wow, that's what you want.
There's a reason that track's covered in grass now.
Yeah, that's what you want.
And in America, Talladega has 33 degrees of banking.
Okay.
Now, from what I understand, and from what I've heard in the past, that is the highest degree of banking you can have where asphalt will actually stay. You go any more, and it's just sliding. The asphalt itself won't stick. Gravity will pull it down while it's setting.
Right. Okay.
So you cannot
as you,
physically put asphalt on more than 33 degrees.
so you're talking as they're laying it down.
As they're-
it's basically
yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that is a heck of a lot of banking. But yeah, Madring, 13.5 degrees. Which is about 24%. I don't know what the percentage means.
Right.
But
okay.
I think banking's great. I mean, that is the biggest thing I love about NASCAR is the banking. It's unreal. I mean, you would have seen plenty of like NASCAR crashes, and I love how you see them all slide. And they just slide off the bottom when there's an accident or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's something like I was watching a race a while ago, and they said there's a minimum speed you have to go around those tracks to stay on the banking, and it's something like 25 miles an hour. Like it's a decent haul. Speed, you have to go on a straight line before or gravity will just drag you to the bottom.
Did you say 25
miles? Yeah, 20 or 25 miles an hour.
That's slow. That's like
Yes.
60 k's.
Well, obviously,
Yeah.
but doing 50 k's and you're sliding down the track.
So when is a Formula One car going to do
They're
50
not.
k's?
I'm just saying that's how like significant the banking is.
Right.
Is that any car, if you go bloody Australian road speeds,
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess that's a fun fact.
It is a fun fact. I think it's great. I think banking is so good for racing. I mean, again, the Nurburgring, they got those corners with the weird concrete, I don't know what it's for, on the apex, and they're banked as hell. And you see, they just throw them in there and the car will just go.
Yeah, you see them bottom
It's
out
like a
too.
electric track. They just go.
Yeah, you missed out. You know, if you're watching the live stream and you got to hear the onboards, you can hear the scraping of the underbody straight over.
I'd love to see what the bottom of them things look like after a race.
Oh yeah, that'd be
between getting airborne and
yeah. Telling you, you missed out.
Thrilling
You missed
stuff.
out.
I did. I really feel like I did. Hey,
Okay, the final piece of news, if we can call it news.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how much of this stuff has been news, but you know, they've been talking points anyway.
yeah, it's getting late.
Bottas had his Cadillac stolen in Miami, which prompted an FBI investigation. So, did you hear this one?
I did see a headline. I will admit I didn't read it because I think you may have already spilled the beans to me about what happened. I didn't think they'd come to a resolution this quick. So I was like, I'm not going to read a headline about speculation.
Well, I didn't take note of what day it was, but apparently it made him late for some of the events. So it might have been like, you know, the Saturday or something.
His car's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, how quick could Cadillac come up with another one? I wonder.
It's kind of like a little bit embarrassing for Cadillac, I think.
Especially in the home event.
Yeah.
Some sicko comes and steals their car from him. I mean, was it his fault? You know, he's probably pretty lackadaisical. Like, this is not my car. You know?
Well,
who's going to steal my car?
First of all, I don't think he's driving. I think someone else is probably driving for him.
But either way, they probably got a sense of, why am I not driving a fucking Ferrari?
Yeah.
Why am I not driving a damn McLaren? Why have I got to drive this Cadillac? Like, dad's car. And they probably don't care too much. They're probably like, whatever, left the keys in it or whatever. And then it probably wasn't even stolen. It was just inherited by a thief.
Good point. Of all the teams on the grid that you could race for and the potential supercars that you'd probably get gifted to just drive around, Cadillac is the...
Yeah, and they don't really have anything that cool, I don't think. You know, the Escalade, get an old school Escalade.
Probably what it was.
Pretty happy with that.
Apparently he, you know, woke up, opened the door, car was just missing, looked at the table, keys were on the table. So apparently they...
So you followed my plan.
Yeah, no, apparently they got in and undone all the technology.
Insurance. This is very hard. I imagine it's very hard to fool an insurance company of a national story.
Hang on, so you're saying it's insurance
He must be sticking to a story about the keys, right?
Maybe he was like
What's
driving
the first
home.
question? I've never had my car stolen, but I assume the first question is, did you lock it? And did you have the keys out of it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And then you got to go find your spare key, and then you got to be like, yeah, look, you know, I imagine that's what happened there. Bottas is like, oh my God.
Maybe he like sideswiped something on the way home or got a chip in the windscreen and was like...
You had to go pay someone.
Like, shit.
Yeah. I just got employed. These are my new employers.
Yeah. I know what I'll do. We'll stage it getting stolen. So...
I mean, I don't want to ruin the ending of the story, but didn't you say it was found in like a chop shop or something?
Yeah, so apparently they found it and it was in like a dodgy part of Miami, like a crime-riddled area of Miami, and allegedly used for a crime, and then dumped. So
either Bottas has had a rager, and then he's like, how do I get
out of this? Yeah.
And then he's like, my fingerprint's already in it anyway. Because I've been driving it. So do the crime, have someone come steal it, and then that's fantastic stuff.
Imagine that. He turns up on Saturday and he looks tired and everyone's like, oh man, what happened to you? And he's like, I had my car stolen. I've been you know, dealing with it all morning.
Yeah,
you know,
really
but he actually had a rager.
Yeah. He had a real bad night, committed some crimes, had to pay off some local Miami goon to bloody steal his car and go to a chop shop.
Cocktailed it.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine Formula 1 drivers are staying in some pretty nice neighborhoods that aren't probably full of people stealing Cadillacs.
It was an Airbnb. And apparently his, you know, pass was inside and everything. So he thought of everything. Really, he thought of everything. But
really had to stage it well.
If it was legit, I'm sure it probably was legit. It is fascinating that they were able to steal it. A car with so much technology and
from
turn
probably
off,
a pretty secured area.
Well, apparently they turned off like the tracking and everything. Like They were clearly.
Are we the only ones seeing through this shit?
Well, yeah, they were clearly either like, high.
They're on the take.
Yeah. Apparently they're in on it, or they were like the most elite car thieves of all time, like movie stuff. So,
But then why steal? Oh, that's just that to me. That just sounds whack.
dodgy.
That
Something
sounds
dodgy going on.
I mean, like
Well,
I
he's a
said,
dodgy looking fella,
yeah.
his-
Bottas sold that car. He's hard up. He's probably only getting $500,000 from Cadillac this year. He's hard up. He's probably sold it to someone.
Yeah, vehicle wasn't recovered, but we found the VIN plates. So.
Oh, there's something dodgy there.
Other than that, not much going on in F1. So we got Canada coming up next week. I believe we thought it was coming up this week, but that was probably just hopeful thinking, being that somehow we got to cram 18 races into the rest of the year. So,
That's what I mean, man. We
still have, technically, we have a mid-season break still to come too. So
we've had one race in 7 weeks. What the fuck is that?
It's disgusting. I don't know if I would be. I really have to question how committed are F1 viewers right now with their subscriptions and things.
Let me tell you, NASCAR just did their 13th race of the season. Let me just tell you that, okay?
I remember laughing at you guys last year because you hardly have any V8 races anymore. But this year, somehow F1 is...
I think they're on round 4.
They're on... So, yeah.
Because that's what I always just find annoying, is that the Melbourne Grand Prix is Formula One's first race, and that's normally V8's, like, second, maybe. So V8's second or third. So they've already got a head start. But normally by now, we'd be looking at round 6 or 7 of Formula One, while V8s are still on round like 4.
Yeah,
so
well,
like, they just take off.
To me is usually the exciting period of the year. You're about to go into Europe, like the Europe leg is about to start, which I think is the best leg. And you're starting to get a picture of, all right, who's genuine contenders? Yeah. I don't feel like we're there yet. Like, obviously, Mercedes look like they're going to win it. It's going to be a question of just which driver.
Oh, I don't know.
McLaren, they've clearly made some big updates and they're coming back. But if last round was anything to go by, it's not looking good for our guy Piastri. So, I'm not sitting here with high hopes that he's going to be in a championship fight right now.
No.
And then you got Ferrari, who look like they've taken a step back, if anything else. So, I don't know if the championship battle right now is clear. Aside from Mercedes, look like it's going to be their year. So, yeah, I don't know. This year has been a pretty big disappointment so far.
I'm disappointed in Formula One. I didn't realize that we had 5 weeks off because of this war situation. Okay, nothing they can do about that, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't realize we're going to come back from Miami and then have 2 weeks off. I am so disappointed in Formula One for not shoving something in this gap. And again, I know they don't have to because of an abundance of reasons, but it's like, again, 1 race in 7 weeks. That is, goddamn, like that is rough.
It's enough time for people to fall out of the sport, isn't it?
Oh,
or if they pick something else up, that's enough time to get invested into something else, I mean,
look at all the other sports.
Like the Nurburgring. So.
Exactly, the Nurburgring, NASCAR, NBA is peak season right now. Like, there's so much other stuff. It's like, I'm disappointed we've got to sit here and do news episodes week after week. But it's like, again, I've said it. I'm not sitting there like craving Canada.
No.
I think it's good because I enjoy talking about it. I enjoy coming in here and we can have an episode
actually talk about racing. Yeah,
like that's a lot better and easier than talking about the bottom feeding news. Yeah,
and Bottas doing insurance fraud.
But I don't have high hopes that Canada's going to be a great race.
No, neither do I. I don't sit here filled with hope that, oh man, Canada's going to be awesome. To be fair, I didn't feel like that either going into Miami.
It could be these weeks and weeks off, back to back. You kind of get into a nice rhythm.
And I think the Miami race was actually quite an interesting race.
Yeah.
So there is an element of me that's trying to get excited for Canada and be like, all right, what's these like adjustments going to bring? It's also another sprint race. So it'll be interesting to see if the sprint does anything more than what we saw in Miami.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think we saw such a big increase in McLaren's performance in Miami from some upgrades first of the year that I think this year is going to be really taken race by race. I mean, I think Mercedes said they're bringing upgrades to Canada. They could just catapult them back to being light years ahead.
Well,
know,
I'm kind of
this-
hoping it has the opposite effect.
Well, of
that
course.
it
Ferrari
hampers
went-
the car. And
Ferrari seemed to have lost pace in Miami. I don't know if they're bringing an upgrade or what, or maybe that Macarena wing isn't working. But I really think the cars are so primitive at the moment with where they're at. Like every race, every upgrades they bring to every race could just bring a massive change in the
could
in the order.
really, yeah.
And again, we saw that with the McLarens. So that's one hope is that, you know, every race, these teams are bringing upgrades, and you could see a big swing. Like Red Bull could flip it on its head this year if they.
There is still time for sure
Yeah.
if they can get it together.
I think we've seen that small changes will make big impacts because there's not 5 years of research and development where everyone's ended on the same path. Everyone's still got their own theories.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 3 or 4 cars running the 180 wing. It won't be long before the whole grid is, and then all of a sudden, no one's got, you know, a benefit there.
a significant advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how this year's season will progress.
Yeah. Oh, I hope you're right. I hope it doesn't become just a Mercedes dominated year, and they're just it's sort of that thing of, all right, who's going to come third? who's going to get that last
with
podium
the way
position?
Antonelli's going, it's like I don't think we're questioning at this point who's going to come first.
No. Speaking of Mercedes memes, George Russell memes.
Yeah.
The other one I saw today was
More explaining.
Toto Wolff, and it was like a headline of like, I don't have favorites. I don't pick favorites in Mercedes.
Yeah.
I love Kimi and what's his name?
That's just a classic. That's a classic
one.
stitch up.
Classic.
I love it.
If you're still here, thanks again for hanging out. We know it's been lean and tough as an F1 fan at the moment. So, you know, we do our best to try and find something interesting to talk about.
Yeah. We'll turn up every week.
Next week, we finally have some racing to actually discuss.
It better be a
That's
doubleheader.
Formula One racing.
It better be a doubleheader. Actually, you know what? Real quick. IndyCar, Indy 500.
Yep.
The greatest. I've never watched it. I'm pretty keen to watch it this year.
Okay.
Apparently, everyone's, the greatest motorsporting event in all of motor racing.
Well, it's American, so of course they're going to say that.
No, everyone acknowledges that.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the highest speed rate. Yeah, whatever. I mean, they're doing nearly 400 kilometers an hour in qualifying.
Okay,
They qualified this weekend. I don't really know how it
impressive.
works because they do 2 laps and
So
it's over 2 weekends. Like they qualify now.
just
and then
hold
they
your thought on that real quick. So they got cars hitting almost 400 Ks.
Yep.
So F1 don't have the fastest cars.
No.
You've got Formula E that do batteries. So they do batteries
Formula
better than
One's
F1.
nothing special.
Yeah. You've got the Nurburgring doing the endurance stuff, which
And-
F1 don't do,
And jumps.
and jumps. And then they are just all combustion engines.
Yeah.
What is F1 the pinnacle of right now? Are they the pinnacle of anything? Really? They probably have, if you split the grid, you have your paid drivers and you got your rich Nepo babies and whatever.
Yeah.
But you genuinely have a good class of probably the top talent in the world.
They're the master of consistency.
Ah, okay, yeah. Just what every sporting category wants to be.
They're the master of mundane. And they're not even that consistent this year because they dropped 2 races.
Tune in because you know exactly what you're going to get week in,
Exactly.
week out.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
God damn.
Anyway, continue on.
Yeah, well,
Hitting
I was
almost
gonna say,
400.
So I'm just a little confused actually because normally it's Monaco, Indy 500, and there's a third one. I can't remember. There's only 3 races on that weekend, and it's just meant to be like the creme de la creme of motor racing.
Right.
But
Surely the third one's a NASCAR thing. Like, surely.
yes, I don't know. I mean, maybe because the Charlotte 600 is next weekend. That is the longest race on the calendar for NASCAR. I'm looking forward to that. So like, there's drivers in America that do 1,100 miles in a day. They do the double. That's what they call it. They do the Indy 500, and in the same day, they will take a helicopter to Charlotte and do the Charlotte 500. They do 1,100 miles in a day.
So they do NASCAR and Indy.
It's like like the occasional driver might do it.
Yeah, wow.
So this year it's a 45-year-old Sheila.
Right.
Yeah. First female to do it, oldest person to do it, yada yada, all that stuff. If she qualifies.
Right.
But yeah, I just find that so interesting. But yeah, my confusion is normally it's on Monaco weekend, but I'm pretty sure it's next weekend. Well, it is next weekend.
Okay.
So I don't know what happened there because that's why like Alonso,
So
missed
maybe-
Monaco.
Maybe Monaco got pushed
Monaco
back.
must have got pushed back
Yeah.
because the Charlotte 600. I'm gonna take Monday off, so I can watch both.
Got a lot of
A lot of
viewing
motorsport
to do.
watch. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I mean,
And none of it F1.
It is Monday. Monday 4 a.m. probably is Montreal.
Oh,
So
okay. So you,
It is
sorry,
this
sorry,
weekend.
sorry.
Yeah. So it's playing. Normally it's Monaco.
6 a.m. here, local time.
That's actually not so bad.
Yeah. It's pretty decent.
Well, I can take Monday off, I reckon.
Oof, do it.
I mean, what a
I
day.
hope your work isn't listening to this.
I'm going to take it off properly. I don't take sickies.
Okay.
I don't take sickies.
You chump.
Yeah, I know. It's the un-Australian way, but truly I don't. I hope they're listening now.
Yeah. Now look who's all excited for next week.
I am excited. I mean, you got to hear a lot about non-F1 things potentially.
Yeah, lucky us.
Spent a whole day watching 4 hours of NASCAR, maybe probably 3 hours of Indy, and an hour and 20 minutes of Formula 1. And then I have to sit here Monday afternoon and pod. I'm excited. I'm taking Monday off. What a great day.
All right. Thanks again for hanging out with us. Like, subscribe, follow if you haven't. Goes a long way to helping us hit our goals, our monetization goals.
Oh, yeah.
But otherwise, we'll see you next week for Canada.
Easy.
Cannot wait.
All right. We'll see you then.
I think.
All
All right.
right.
GG's.
Talk to you then. Bye.
Bye.